whatever you think Google's doing, I promise you, it's way, way worse.
A warning I've echoed for a long time now. Whatever you think Google's doing, it's way, way worse. You see, they've lied to us. They lied to us about another major project that we're going to cover today. But what they're actually lying to us about is much larger than that, a threat beyond what most of you can imagine. I'm going to frame it up. It actually took several days here. We started yesterday, we're going to go today, and then tomorrow we're going to put it into its final framework so you understand what I'm calling the modern day purge. You see, history is repeating itself. There was once a great purge back in Russia, and how we're now following in lockstep with everything that transpired is beyond terrifying. But again, my job here is to provide you knowledge. My name is Justice Knight. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. Make sure the bell is checked so you're alerted to upcoming broadcasts. Below in my links, you'll find some alternate media. But now immediately back into what we're going to cover today. You see, here's a list of, let's call them dissenters, those who Google doesn't agree with, those that Google doesn't like very much, those who are speaking truths, at least some of them, that Google says you're not allowed to hear. The great big brother, the great Orwellian freak show that it is, but they went beyond that because then they started classing news sites because if we can control all the information and those who we deem as authoritative content like the CNNs and ABCs and PBSs of the world that you see here on your screen now, we're going to rank them very high. But Alex Jones and the Next News Network, oh no, we're going to stack them very, very low because we don't want anybody realizing the truth that we're concealing, but more definitively the motive of what we're about to aid in doing. You see there again, these are human rated classifiers, not machines. This goes beyond the algorithm. No, this is a human touch point. Now, what did they lie to us about? Google confirms to the U.S. Senate that it has terminated Project Dragonfly search project for China. This was the Orwellian search project in China to assure that they can help the Chinese government in blocking those nasty terms like Tiananmen Square and anything else they don't want their citizenship to hear. Now, why would Google do that, being located here in land of the free and home of the brave, reaching out overseas to China and help one of the most repressive regimes ever to, again, inflict conflict and ill will on their own citizenship? That makes no sense, but they've denied over and over again. Google exec tells Senate the Project Dragonfly has been terminated. So that's once you keep watching this. Google grilled over Project Dragonfly at Senate hearing on data privacy. And then we're going to go to Senator Hawley and some of his testimony. You listen here.
For Google CN, you developed it, and it included censorship tools that would have screened out things like mentions of Tiananmen Square. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, Senator. Are you referring to Project Dragonfly?
Oh, well, I wasn't, but since because that's a separate thing. But since you mentioned Project Dragonfly, why don't you tell us about it? Is it active right now?
It's not, Senator.
You're able to say that for the record. It's not active. You've abandoned Project Dragonfly?
Yes, we've terminated that.
Okay, they've terminated Project Dragonfly. But yet it was turned back on. But yet it was terminated. But yet it was turned back on. You see how much mixed messaging until you realize it was all just a grand deception. Because that whistleblower, going back to InfoWars, I want you to listen a little bit further.
It's not just about corporate profits. You've entered into the dangerous territory of a national security issue. You are now exposing yourself as a national security threat. You're hosting your AI Manhattan project in a foreign country. Meanwhile, you're using deception in order to cancel contracts with the United States military.
Why are you beholden to them, and what do you owe them that you now have to shift the entire matrix? Well, against the world, because we got to frame it up much larger. This was the original article. Red Alert, insider raises alarm on Google's AI project in China, talking specifically about Project Dragonfly, but now taking it a step further.
Now, you said something interesting, a Manhattan AI project that they've moved to a foreign country. Are you talking about China?
Yes, I am.
And what is that project that you would say is the AI equivalent of a Manhattan project, which was, of course, the atom bomb?
So the equivalent that Google's working on is called DeepMind. But Google has been trying to deceive the public by creating a fake AI project called Dragonfly.
The deception I told you about, misdirection. And if something is as innocent as they want it to appear, then why the need for deception? Well, you see, this started a long time ago. You see this article here on Wired, inside the artificial brain that's remaking the Google empire, just taking a step down. Google is not really a search company. It's a machine learning company. You see what you see on your screen under Google search is nothing. Absolutely nothing. You see, they've taken this classification system and expanded it out into regions that people can't even fathom. The grand data of things, it's why they want everything online, your cars, your banking records, your health history, because Google has built a machine learning algorithm under the mainframe of what is now DeepMind to find everything simultaneously in seconds. Now, we're not going to quite go yet to the final step of that because we're going to just go a step further into Google Brain, an internal code name, not anything official, started back in 2011. This is the offshoot when Stanford's Andrew Ng joined Google X, the company's moonshot laboratory group to experiment with deep learning. About a year later, Google had reduced Android's voice recognition error rate by an astounding 25%. You see, everything starts very innocent. Of course, they bought that company for $400 million. Extending Google's artificial brain, who learned to find cats in videos. Again, this was just about recognition technology. They wanted to be able to, within a large amount of images and videos, classify and find specifically what they were looking for. But they made it very innocent, of course. This was just to help screen things. There's the acquisition, $500 million. Google acquires artificial intelligence startup DeepMind for more than $500 million. This has been going for a long time. Google's DeepMind pairs with NHS to use machine learning to fight blindness. Of course, they always like shrouding things. And if this was to be truly helpful, it's amazing technology. To predict and get advanced prediction for ill health effects. Of course, that's wonderful, but it extends beyond that. It's always a front story that they have. The amazing way Google uses learning deep learning is the area of artificial intelligence where the real magic is happening right now. Traditionally, computers, while being very fast, have not been very smart. They have no ability to learn from their mistakes and have to be given precise instruction in order to carry out any task. Well, trust me, that is no longer, because now these are computerized brains. It started, out of this video here very quickly. Now that's innocent, looks like an old-time cartoon, but in actuality, that's a computer program. It learned how to walk and go over obstacles for the first time without human intervention. It had to figure out, basically by the matrix, how to maneuver and get over, which has terrifying weapons-grade applications. But we're going to let that go because we've got to move forward in our story. WTF, MSM, Google whistleblower reveals himself and Google's attempt to sway elections. That's right, we saw all the congressional coverage. Google, Facebook now can manipulate a huge portion of society. Again, a very small fraction of the overall plan. Because remember, we're trying to get back to this changeover of Project Dragonfly, deceiving the world into not looking at DeepMind. DeepMind being one of the most advanced companies on planet Earth. One of the most evil companies on planet Earth, and by far creating the most demonic and evil weapon that has ever existed. And you see, there's such a small fraction of people that actually understand the implications of what DeepMind can do that we like to keep things in very understandable bites like this one.
Google is developing an app to screen out content that the Chinese government considers too sensitive for its citizens. Translation? Google is helping China silence its political opposition.
Right? It's easy to understand. China, the bad guy. And if you think it doesn't exist, there it is. Google.cn. That was the algorithm that they were worried they could bring over here and suddenly censor out all our data, which is only one prong of the overall tech, because within these mainframes also is one of the largest search features that has ever existed, the cataloging of everything. Images, articles, words, conversations, and their deep learning through, DeepMind has many facets of what it can do with this knowledge, none of which is good for the American people, you see, because as you heard me say in the beginning, the purge is coming, and when they need to identify quickly where all those that they disagree with are, again, through video analysis, going back to the cats, through video imagery, being able to identify images within anything, within photos, within words. you start to understand that DeepMind and the algorithm that is DeepMind was actually the company all along. It wasn't Project Dragonfly. That was a deception because they don't want anybody looking too closely at what DeepMind can do. It's beyond any government repression or control that you can even fathom. DeepMind has the power and capability to reach out into the world of the internet and capture anything for any regime that it so says. See, the implications are staggering for where we're heading here because we covered Google CN. And you notice that DeepMind plays with video games quite a bit. It just so happens that this video game has taught itself how to attack without commands, beating human operators, human game players easily, hands down now. DeepMind's getting smarter. It's getting better. Sounds like Terminator, doesn't? Well, in many ways, DeepMind is Terminator. DeepMind is Skynet. DeepMind is able to achieve and acquire so much of a large database of knowledge and work through it quicker than any human operator ever could, that it can make decisions 1,000-fold before we even touch a key on the keyboard. You see, DeepMind all along has been what Google's trying to hide. It will lead to a modern-day purge that we're going to outline completely tomorrow and say again how integral this algorithm will be in the potential end of society. And no, that's no overstatement. It's actually an understatement, because I don't think any of us realize exactly how far along this project already is. And Google's never going to tell us. So once again, my name is Justice Knight. I can't thank you enough for being here. I am so excited about tomorrow or maybe Thursday's video. It may take me 2 days to render it, but you need to watch it. You need to pay attention, and you need to understand, because if you did, you would be prepping, you would be preparing, and you'd be getting ready, because, my friends, there's no turning this back anymore. It's too far down the road. It's not if it's going to happen. It's when it's going to happen. And that we need to be prepared for. So once again, Godspeed and God bless. If you haven't subscribed to my station, I certainly hope you will. So much more information like this to follow. And again, don't be scared. We have nothing to fear. We know exactly how this game ends. We know who we report to ultimately, but that doesn't mean that we ever have to give up the fight, inform, and help as many as possible before that day comes. I love you all.